And I ain't hit no drop in a minute. No, I'm about my business.
Rappers Got Podcast, episode 51.
Yeah, 51.
This is your host, Diggy Bailz.
Bailz Pagliacci.
And today we want to talk about starting with why. I was explaining to Bailz earlier that I read a book called Start With Why, and the whole idea behind it is kind of every business starts with why they're getting into it, why they are inspired to do it, what makes them want to keep doing it, what is your base reasoning for it, and what's the foundation of your artistry. So I want to ask you to start the episode, what is your why?
My why for music will always have to be, and always will be, it's just something that naturally just calls me, which I'm pretty sure a lot of artists may experience and they may, feel inside. But it goes a little bit deeper than that because, when we think about artistry, you understand that there isn't a lot of money in this, but a lot of people sometimes may come, to look for it as a profit or as a profitable business. But it's like, even with knowing that it's a fucking crazy ass uphill battle, there's nothing more in life that I want to do other than this. Podding's cool. But, music is just...
See, I could do a pod for the rest of my life.
It also depends on the bag. That's also true. You're right.
This is the deeper thing. Like, I feel like every musician is going to come out and be like, well, because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be your why.
Oh, then I don't have
That's
a why,
the
then.
difficult part. The difficult part is understanding your why. And it can't be, I love doing it. Like, that makes sense. Everyone loves doing it. But why do you love it? What's the deeper meaning behind you actually getting into this and trying to do this? I was explaining to you earlier off mic that my why is because this was the only thing that I thought I'd be able to actually make a reasonable income with.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that I could be the business guy that's in the office cubicle working on Wall Street. I didn't think that I would be capable of that. Once I stopped playing basketball, I didn't think that was the future for me.
Mm-hmm.
But music was the thing that I felt like if I want to be uber successful, I want to make millions of dollars, music is my only outlet that I can actually get there with. And I still feel like that from time to time. Like, I know that in a business world, I could be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'll be waking up and being like, yo, if I want to really like make what I think I deserve in life, I have to kick up with the music shit. Because again, like, I don't see myself as a tattooed, and this is all self-inflicted, obviously, right? But like, as like a tattooed hip hop guy, I don't see myself ever being able to just throw on a suit every day and wake up early in the morning and kiss my wife and kids goodbye and go to work and then come home at 5. I can't see myself doing that. So like, music has to be that outlet where I could still remain who I am, like from the inside, and make a reasonable income that actually provides value to future generations of my family,
And then I'm thinking about it now as you speaking about like your why. I'm starting to think about mine a little bit more so than it just calling me. I think for me, the biggest thing out of all is just like building a sense of community, and that could be on like two different like levels. Like, it could be community within me just finding my Blackness in a sense, or just like being able to embrace that, but also just me being a weird person, the type of person I am, also finding people who may listen to my music or who may just enjoy me as a person and just like, yo, I just want to, be around this person.
You're
just
trying
like
to
building
find
that
your
sense of
tribe.
community. Yeah, exactly. Like, just knowing that there's a group of people, whether, that be on like Twitch or YouTube. Like, I think a lot of times people just are searching for a community to build themselves around, and for people to, just want to be involved in their lives. Because, we don't really go into too many professions where you can like really touch a lot of people's lives all at one time. And then on numerous occasions, like, yeah, there's doctors, there's, police officers, there's firefighters, whatever the case may be. But it's like, music just kind of finds that community in a different way, in my eyes.
Now, do you feel like you always knew that would be your why? Or is that something that you kind of like figured out as you got more into the marketing and into the actual like deeper music business?
No, I think that's where it came from. Like, originally, like always, music, I love to do it, but I want to make some money before I know what the business was. But within knowing of how the business is, it was like, okay, I really don't care about that. But when you start seeing people really start reaching out to you, people start really embracing your music, people like resonating with the lyrics, it starts hitting a little different. Like, oh shit. And like, even like going on live, even if it's like 5 or 7 people in there, yo, they just came in just to see me and just chop it up with me. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's really what that why comes from, finding that community and finding the sense of myself. And then along the lines, probably helping other people find themselves as well.
Finding your why in music is important to actually structure your business, because if your why is, well, I want money, then it's not going to pan out for you. Like, when I say that this is the only thing I could ever see myself doing, it's because I feel like I actually have the brain for it. I made it a career thing, but it's because my brain doesn't work in those other fields.
Mm-hmm.
My brain doesn't work in science, bro. I wasn't good at science. You know what I mean? I was good with English, but what does that get you? Being a teacher?
It turns you to a fire rapper.
And my whole family is teachers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like that definitely comes from that. But at the same time, like, I couldn't see myself going to a school every day and doing that and being comfortable with myself.
And that's kind of one of those things that I just started to realize myself too, you know, about to hit around 30. I'm just like, yo, should I go back to school for like psychology? But in my mind, it's just like, yo, I do not want to do that anymore. Like, I do not want to go back to school. I'm fine with having my bachelor's. And I just really want to just focus on building something in music, because it's like, it's like, whatever. I don't really want to chase that anymore. That's not where that
Someone
passion
feeds
lies.
your soul.
It does not. I mean,
Right.
no, it does in a sense.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about going back to school for it and whatever, but like, the whole reason that you went is because you're like, I want to help people.
Mhm.
But you found a creative outlet to do that. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
also true.
Like, we're talking about why we get into these things and what the actual deep-rooted feeling is. And it's like, you are someone who wants to help people mentally, and music does that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is musical therapy. Like, that's a thing, you know, and what you're doing is, and especially with your content, I mean, you constantly are singing and rapping about mental health.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, that's going to be something that feeds your soul more than, oh, I could go into the social work field.
It hits completely different.
It's two different things.
It's two different
You know what I
things.
mean? Like, one of them is, first off, like, it's difficult to be at a job and do things the way you actually would do them.
Mm-hmm. So everybody
There's
has their
guidelines.
protocols, guidelines, everything.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to follow those guidelines, where with music, we can express what we would actually do. And in a lot of ways, like, when I was running the studio, what I would try to explain to people is like, I don't have to take every session.
Mm-hmm.
I choose the sessions that I take. That's because it's my business. I'm allowed to choose. Like, if I worked over at like Quad Studios or one of these big studios, I don't have a choice.
You're forced to do whatever's brought in.
You know, like, if an artist is disrespectful, or they bring in a bunch of people who are disrespectful, you know, the company still wants their dollar. So at the end of the day, you still have to take the session.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, running your own space, I don't have to take any session I don't want to take. And that's the beauty of doing your own thing. And with your music, you can run your mental health campaigns, but in your words.
And it reaches people in a different sense, because once again, when it comes to me, like, it's like I'm helping children out, you know, within a specific county in New Jersey.
Right.
And yeah, you can definitely make a message, you can definitely spread some things, but it's like, how far can that message really go? And then it comes down to music, where it's just like, it's so interchangeable, where it's like, it could be something that I'm talking about right now all the way in New Jersey, but somebody in Mexico is just like, yo, this is the craziest thing that I've ever heard, and it's helping me out.
Right. So, like, at a job, your only focus is that regional space.
That job that you're looking for.
Where on a musical note, you could actually touch the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So your whole thing is spreading message.
Yeah, exactly.
Your why is to spread message.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. We just found a why all in this episode.
Well, that's the point. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that other people are listening, and as they listen to us kind of go through it, they're going to find their why. But finding your why is important. You know, it's that starting point. And I think for a lot of people, if you actually find your why, it'll actually inspire you to go a little bit harder.
It changes the whole direction of what you thought you initially needed to do, or what you was initially supposed to sound like, because it starts being more clear and evident. Like, it's like having a game plan, like having a blueprint. Like, oh shit, this is where I'm supposed to be at. This is where it sits with me. This is what talks to me. This is what speaks to me. let me go follow this. And honestly, it's been life changing ever since then.
See, and my why shifted. Like my why originally was because I couldn't see myself doing anything else, right? And then I start working this one career where the boss there actually started like giving me a lot of business knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And he started telling me, all the stuff that we've preached on here, he taught me, like, go get an LLC. This is what you need to do. That job folded. He emailed me and was like, yo, I really think you should go for the studio. I think that's a good idea. And I think that it will work for you. I think that you have the brain for it. And I would really like do that if I were you. My boss at my last job was super, super supportive, and my why shifted because my why was originally very selfish. It was all about what I wanted to do and everything was me, like my why. But it shifted over time into like, I could potentially, with the knowledge I have now, I could help others also come up.
Mm-hmm.
I meet someone like you, and although I'm mixing for you, the whole premise of our relationship is literally like me being like, yo, this is how you could do this, man. Like don't do what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out how to tighten this up. And you didn't ask for those opinions.
No, I definitely didn't.
You know what I mean?
But they was definitely needed.
But I feel like you're not the only person that I've had those conversations with. There's a bunch of people that like I tried to kind of bring along because my thing is, bro, like as much as I did not get to the pinnacle of success with music,
mm-hmm.
I did so much shit, man. Like I did so much shit in regards to performing. I was on all the blogs. I was on this. I was on that. So like I saw,
you walked all the facets of life,
right? Like I've seen all the music shit, bro. I've been on, like there was Mishka blog and all these big blogs back in the day, and I was on those blogs, Future Classics, like all these blogs posted my records. I did shows in Webster Hall. I did shows in the city. I did shows in New Jersey. I've gone to studios. I had my shit mixed and mastered by actual engineers. I was in all these different environments in music, and me seeing all that and seeing that my career didn't take that next step. Now I see someone kind of entering the game and I go, oh, fuck. They're about to make all the mistakes I made.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Yo, yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, let me get in touch with them and see how I could help them kind of like get on with it, And I think that my why has shifted into why do I do it now? It's because I think that like when we were talking about me being an executive,
mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll be a great executive because I just like have this knack for business understanding. I think I'll be a great executive because my number one goal going in would be how do we shift the business in the artist's favor?
Mm-hmm.
And that's tough. And that's tough for, and the same thing goes with the shows. I told you, like I used to throw shows and I didn't make $1 off them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the show was great. I didn't leave the show mad at the fact that I didn't get $1.
Because that wasn't your intention in the first place.
Right. So when you go in with that intention, it changes the way that you perceive things. Like you have to understand the amount of lives that I'm touching. Like, yo, there's a complete shift in who you are as a human since I met you.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like there's a different confidence. There's a different everything.
That shit's all there now.
And that happens with a lot of the artists that I've dealt with. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like I see things in certain people that just need to be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get that little like correction going, now their maximum potential can be reached. And I don't think a lot of people see it. And that's why it's so off-putting when someone first hears it. Like you're not the only artist that I told, change this. And you're like, I don't want to change that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only artist that ever did that. That's typical. We're artists. We have our own ways of thinking. We have our own ways that we do things. And when you're so used to doing something a certain way, you become stubborn, so like, you're not the first artist to do that. And again, we've talked about this in the past, but like in this business, everyone's trying to take.
Constantly.
So when you meet someone who's not trying to take, but they're just giving you some type of like pointers, you're sitting there like, okay, when are they going to hit me with I'm going to need you to give me this? You know what I mean?
I'm going to need you to give it up.
Right. But like, when are they going to hit me with that? Okay, pay me this, or, yo, if you go to my guy, he does like.
Yeah,
When are they going to
genuine
hit me
people is
with
kind
that?
of hard to come by, but when they do come by, it becomes like, oh, it has to be something else. I'm very skeptical about this.
And here's the good part. Like when you do give off that energy, you start linking with a bunch of people that give off that energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like now I'm around people that have the same mentality as me. And I like that a lot. Like these people will offer you any amount of knowledge that
Any
you
type
want.
of help you're looking for.
You know, and look at the amazing relationships that we made off this podcast, talking to
Facts.
different people. And those people are the same way. And like, you know, it's a little community that we've built where like we are talked about with the different music promoters and bloggers and stuff like that. Like we are up there in those conversations with people like Keys and Corey and
Mm-hmm.
you know, like we're all in the same space. There's a dude named Bacon Bits or something like that on TikTok.
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, there's this guy. He's a music marketer. He does like TikToks with like a cigar in his mouth.
That sounds familiar.
He's
really
posted, but I wanna link with him too. But it's amazing that in just being able to give off. Look at Z, like just being able to give off information and not ask for anything in return. It actually benefits you more.
Yeah,
You know, and the same thing applies to you as an artist. If you're sitting at home and you're very selfish with your shit, then you know you're going to be met with that energy. If you are sitting there and you're willing to, you know, reach out to the dude who is a freshman in your high school when you're a senior and he's trying to start rapping too, and bring him to the studio session. We were talking about earlier off mic. We were talking about Tyler the Creator and all the people that were in Odd Future.
Crazy.
You're talking about Frank Ocean, you're talking about Sid of the internet, you're talking about Earl Sweatshirt, you're talking about all these different people. Vince Staples was a part of that. Like you're talking about all these different people who they were all just people who brought
came under one umbrella,
you
essentially.
know, but it all came from everyone just having the same mindset or like being open. You know, they didn't sound the same. Tyler didn't sound like Haji Beats. He didn't sound.
Yeah, they were different, but they all brought a special
different,
piece.
But they all knew what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that I want people to start putting an end to. I want people to put an end to that selfish outlook on music, because that whole like this is a rat race and first one, nah.
Because at the end of the day, like your why literally can't just be I just want to. I mean, I guess some people can. Like I want to just be the best artist in the world. I just want to be, you know, I just want to make the most money and out of this shit. And it's like cool, but that's really not going to take you too far with just having that mindset.
My thing with this is like yo, people think that they get better by just secluding themselves.
No, that's a complete opposite. I'm actually trying to get unsecluded. I'm trying to learn how to fucking branch out a little bit more because I can feel it now, and you can start sensing it. That why starts changing. Like, oh, I'm in my back cave by myself doing everything. And it's just like, nah, I need to be like really collaborating and reaching out more and just getting out of that space.
Getting different energy, bro.
Yeah, that shit is just
you know what I'm saying. Like, bro, you go to different studio sessions and you link with different people. And the energy is just different. You know, you have conversations with people that you could fucking really like gain an understanding from how they perceive music.
Mm-hmm.
And you add that to your toolbox. And like we were talking about this with Mark, but it's like that's important in music. And a lot of the times like people think, oh, you know, it has to come from people who know more than me or not. But like sometimes you learn different little keys and tips from even the artist who goes to the same school as you. Sometimes they can hit a certain flow that you can't hit. And that goes into your toolbox. So it's like, I think that in building your foundation, you have to be open to just working with everyone and anyone, you know, especially when you're starting. I think you have to be open to, if there's musicians around you, you have to start trying to just vibe and see what works. Now, not every single one is going to work.
But you got to be able to get that shit out and feel it for yourself. Because you ain't going to be able to know it from your fucking studio at home and just sitting there by yourself secluded.
Bro, I feel like that's the worst way to make music, is just to do it by yourself your whole life.
Yeah.
And it's also the worst way to build a following.
Because honestly,
unless you're a savage with the marketing, like you can do it if you're a savage with the marketing. You can be some dude who has no following whatsoever. Mm-hmm. You make a bunch of cool videos in your bedroom or whatever, and then you blow up on one of these apps. You can do that.
That's possible.
You know what I'm saying? Especially now, it's totally possible. But like, we're talking about in the creative process, being around different producers and hearing how they hear music. You know what I mean? Seeing how they work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gain from every single person that you come across. So it's like, that's why I feel like it's very important as an artist to collaborate as much as possible. And in doing that, especially from an early, because you'll find your sound, and sometimes it's not going to be the same sound that you built with those people, but you'll find it eventually in working with other people. And eventually you land on those people that you're like, oh, this is the crowd I'm supposed to be with.
And all that shit just start connecting, and it's a beautiful feeling.
Because you might link with a trap artist if you're a boom bap artist, and you guys are working on trap and boom bap together and seeing what works. And then you come across this dope ass boom bap artist, and you're like, me and him sound way better on records, or me and her sound way better on records together.
Kind of like the same thing with like the Tyler and fucking ASAP Rocky shit. Like, who would have been able to fucking see that coming or fruition out of nowhere?
I mean, I feel like everyone, when they first came into the game, was like, if they just collabed, you know, it'd probably be amazing.
Well, ASAP and
yeah,
I didn't think anything, but when it happened, I was like, oh shit.
Nah, because they had beef when they first came in. But it was just because, it was like that young group, you know, it's that hip hop thing that we do where we pit people against each other for no fucking reason.
Because even like when I think about that fucking song with Pusha T and Tyler, I think it was called like Trouble on My Mind. That was like that was the perfect bridgeway for me. And I'm sure I've heard like a bunch of different songs that bridge like two different type of artists together. But when I heard that shit, I was like, oh shit, this is giving me my nerdy type shit or my weird shit, but it's also still giving me that, oh, I'm in the streets rap. So it's like, it was that perfect blend, and it just fucking sounded amazing. I love that song.
But yeah, I think that in finding your why, you also find your sound. You also find all the things that are important to building a sustained success in this industry.
You'll find who you need to be around.
Right. You'll find everything. But it starts with why. Why are you doing it? Again, if your why is, I want to be rich.
Find another profession.
Because my thing with that whole argument of like, I want to be rich, or that whole statement, I want to be rich, you're going to be broke in hip hop before you're rich.
For a long time.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you make the smartest decisions from day one, you're going to be way more broke than you are rich. So it's like, if this is just like a quick money thing for you, you're going to learn really quick that that's not how this works.
Go play the lottery.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that some people think they are playing the lottery when they fuck with music. I think that some people's idea of music is like, all I need is that one. It's like, all I need is that ticket.
That's what it has, the perception has come to, but that shit is far from the fucking truth.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that some people get into this thinking that like a hit song is a lottery ticket. And they're like, all I need is that one to take off. And it's like, it's the same as playing the lottery. It's like, all I need is these numbers to connect. It's like, that's not how it works at all.
You're going to need like 20 more of them just to go off.
Actually, it might be the same odds. You know what I'm saying? As like hitting a fucking Billboard top 10 track and winning the lottery.
Don't tell me that. I'll start fucking playing Jersey Cash 5 again, bro. I had a problem.
I just got an addiction, bro.
I just got away from that shit. But nah, it's definitely fascinating. That's like one of the biggest things. You know, time and time again, like even this morning, like I just woke up and I just always got to remind myself and just check back in. Like, yeah, what am I doing this for? Or like, you know, the why and what's the reasoning for? And then I always have to also within that bring in my expectations. Like, what are you really expecting from this? And like, what if this doesn't go the way you want it to do? What's your plan A? What's plan B? Like, where you going from there? And I know some people like, nah, you can only have a plan A. And it's like, if that's how you want to live your life, that's perfectly fine. That's just something I can't do. I got to have multiple things going on in the back of my mind at one time. Like, where can I take this and where can I lead this? Because everything always constantly changes. You just never know. I started off like only wanted to do rap. Then I just like, oh shit, people actually enjoy my voice, which still is a little bit shocking to me. But it's like, this is what I kind of love and enjoy now. And it's like, we were listening to some of like old music before, and it was like those elements and everything, like we said before, it's like they're still there. It's just that it needs some refining. It needs to be adjusted. It needs to go through the time to grow. And now we're here. And it just continues to evolve every single day, every year.
Yeah. And I think it's healthy to constantly remind yourself of why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this episode is going to be good for a lot of people because I think that you should even write down your why. I think that anytime that you're down about music, right? Like say those days when you wake up and you go, bro, why am I even doing this?
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the reason.
I ain't got no money.
You know, like
Got no
Because
fans.
everyone goes through that, you know, like, bro, I talk to artists all the time that are like, yeah, it's just been hard lately. Like, I just don't, you know, I'm not seeing the success that I want. I'm not, you know, and it's just hard to kind of get myself to keep doing it. And I'm like, one, I want to let everyone know that you're not alone and everyone goes through that.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I want to let you know that, like, we've spoken about this a bunch of times on here, but like what we are doing is super difficult, super incredible shit. Like, you're doing something that a very small percentage actually is very successful with this.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you are going to do something that has the outcome of being a millionaire, it's not going to be easy, bro. It's not going to be easy. Like, anything that has the amount of income that you could potentially make as a musician, if you get to the top, right? That's going to be a difficult path. And I don't care if you're doing it within music or you're starting up your own business. But if you're starting up your own business, to think that you're just going to become a millionaire off bat, like,
That probably get divided up too quickly.
But also check that out. Like, if you told someone, yo, start a clothing brand and become a millionaire, they'd probably be like, I don't know how I'm going to become a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you start factoring the numbers and you go, how much does it take to make all these shirts? Oh, okay. So it's $10 a shirt. How many can I afford? I can afford to get 30.
I looked into it. It's a lot.
But
That shit is
check
even
that
crazy.
out. All right. So you can only afford 30 at that point. What's the profit on each shirt? Say they're selling for $20. You got $10 from each, right? So now you made your 300 back and you doubled. Now you invest it back. How long do you have to do that for before you become a millionaire?
A lot of fucking times.
What types of clothing sell the most? You start getting into hoodies. You start getting into jackets because there's a higher profit margin. Like, all these things that you have to think about when you're doing that. That would be like, oh yeah, nah, it's mad difficult to start a brand and become a millionaire. But then with music, it's like, nah, it's easy to become a millionaire. You just land a hit. And like, yo, do you mind talking about like what the streaming numbers are actually paying?
Oh, I have no fucking. I'm about to eclipse right around 800,000 streams, and I still probably by next month I will be hitting $1,000, and that's literally been within the past 2 years. So at no point in America is that a livable wage. And once again, you'll probably hear somebody with 800,000 streams like, oh, they got to have some money. It is basically under $1,000, like right around there. And even though like my music kind of is in like lower markets, even if it was still in America, we're still looking at what, 1,500. I'm probably going to get if all those streams was like American dollars. You got to be really.
I think someone said off 1 billion streams that was it 1 billion or 100? It might have been 100 million, but someone said like 100 million streams got them like $6,400.
It ain't money. You can't live off of it.
Nah.
That's 2 months of my living expenses.
You would need to drop mad songs, have them all hit 100 million just to, and that's not where the money's at with music anyway.
Exactly.
Like, yo, you talk to a producer in music, they're going to tell you that it all comes from placements. And, you know, this placement got me this amount on a royalty check. And I had to land 100 placements just to be able to sustain like a decent income.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, nothing about this game is easy.
Nothing at all.
And that's why when you have those days where you wake up and you go, this shit's hard as fuck. How do I keep going? You have to start with why. You have to ask yourself that, or you have to tell yourself that why again.
And that's why I said, like at the beginning of this episode, it cannot be money because it just does not come. It'll eventually come, but you're going to see a lot of bad days, a lot of bad years before that shit actually start going how you want it to go. And within that, you got to put in a lot of fucking work and a lot of things. Sometimes it might be just some luck, a lot of work and a little bit of luck. Take you a long way.
That's a fact. All right. You got anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. We'll cut this one a little bit shorter. We've been going long lately. So
long haul.
Rappers Guide Podcast. We're signing out. This is Diggy Metro.
Bailz Pagliacci.
Peace out, guys.
One.